finally, a topic I'm passionate about. Men's asses.
Am I supposed to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about them?
About men's asses?
Yeah.
Depends on the man and depends on the ass.
Okay.
If we're talking Van Damme,
Damn, Van Damme. That's a dunk. That guy's dunked
put it up there.
I'm not putting it up.
What?
I'm not putting up Van
Oh,
Damme's
you can't
ass.
do that.
I'm going to get flagged.
Put it and then blur the ass part so that
Can I just
YouTube
put it in
won't flag
underwear?
us.
I'll put it in underwear.
You got to put that one picture, man. That one picture is
But then how am I going to do
chef's kiss.
if I'm censoring it? And you won't
Because
see it?
it's suggestive. And
It's
then
provocative.
the people will
Gets
go
the people going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it, guys. Google Jean-Claude Van Damme
Put it.
ass. And then
There's
let us
some
know what you
bad
think.
pictures
Come
there.
back. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of BFit Brothers podcast, guys. Today, we are actually talking about men's glutes and why there's been such a rise in popularity. Men are training glutes way more than they ever have. So
Men are training glutes now.
let's get into that.
Ain't that crazy?
Here's our theme song.
BFit Brothers, they're doing the stuff. BFit Brothers, they're overcaffeinated.
The reason we're talking about this is because GQ wrote an article about the rise in popularity of men training glutes. And it's not for health reasons or anything like that. It's purely aesthetic.
Which, by the way, I can't really vouch for. I don't know if men are training glutes more because, as we're going to talk about, we've been training glutes for the longest time, and at BFit we train glutes and we know the importance of it. But apparently, guys in membership gyms it's a trend. It's happening more.
They want
Is that
chef
true,
booty.
people?
I'll tell you what, the other day I did go to a commercial gym and there was guys, not only in the squat rack, but there was people like waiting to use the hip thrust machine. So I guess it is a rise. I'll tell you what, nobody wants a saggy ass.
That's true.
Yeah.
But historically, can we talk about how men don't really like training lower body, period?
Well, that's just because it's hard. But I also think that we still have somewhat of a resistance, especially if it's somebody new or somebody like with an old school mentality. Like, do I really have to do these like Summer Sand? What's it called? Susan Sarandon?
Susan Sanders. That's
no,
old
Summer
people
Sanders.
shit.
Like, do I have to do all these glute stuff and the bridges? And they're like, yeah, man, the glutes are the most important muscle in your body. So
The most important. That's a bold claim.
what do you think it is?
It's the biggest muscle in the body.
The biggest is the most important in my book.
They're very important.
What's the most
That's
important?
for sure.
The erector spinae?
It's up there. The glutes are up there for
Let's
sure.
put them up there. All right, top three, we'll say.
Yeah,
Top
for sure. So tell me about this article. What did it say?
The article basically said that people are placing more of an importance on
People, men.
men. Well,
Written by a
people-
woman.
People too, because women are noticing it more and complimenting it more and talking about it. Like, it's the talk of the town, guys. We're all talking about men's asses, right? Me and all my
Okay.
friends groups. So basically, the article interviews a respected personal trainer that we love, Dr. John Russin, and he speaks about the increase of people training glutes, and then it goes to general pop. It speaks to a lot of people who are now training glutes, who are either self-conscious or were about their glutes, or bragging about how they always get complimented on it. So basically, it's an article.
There's a lot about dating too.
A lot about
it
dating
helped
and
them in
like
their dating life.
Yeah, and like some girl bragging about her boyfriend's ass helping him during sex. I'm like, first off, like, are you pegging him or? No, I'm just kidding. But like, I don't know. It wasn't weirdly written, but the message was pretty much like glute training for men is on the rise, and that they're not looking at it as like taboo or feminine. Something that 10, 15 years ago was labeled feminine, quote unquote.
Also, to give more context, in the bodybuilding world, traditionally, glutes haven't really been discussed. So when we talk legs in bodybuilding for a very long time, legs meant quads and hammies, maybe calves too. But you know, that's something that the average person wouldn't know. But if you know bodybuilding or if you've studied this, I know because I heard Brett Contreras talk about it in a podcast, and he gave the entire history of like glute training because he's like the godfather of glutes.
The glute guy.
And I never thought about that, but it's true. When you would see like these guys with massive legs, it would be like from the front, quads popping,
Hamstrings ripping.
They never gave any importance to the glutes as far as development, even though they were doing a lot of glute exercises. And that's something that now has definitely changed because A, we're not all bodybuilders. We don't care about being on a stage and looking a certain way. And B, everything you just said, the dating stuff, nobody likes to have a flat ass. And then what I'm going to argue in this podcast is forget all that. The glutes are, for function, are one of the most important muscles to train.
And what you just said about bodybuilding is so true. I never thought about it because even like the famous Arnold split, doesn't like squeezes in a leg day like too malamente, as we say.
And it's not like you're from behind showing your ass. Like when they're doing the back pose, they're showing their back.
Yeah.
and you can see the hamstrings a little, the calves.
If anything, the asses look sad.
I
know that's what it looks like when you're...
An ass with no fat looks crazy. If you've never looked it up, Google it.
I'm not putting it out up here.
Striations. You get striations on your ass.
That's nasty. Sorry if you're a bodybuilder. I'm sure somebody likes your ass.
Now let's talk about something that might be one of the reasons why men traditionally didn't do glute training, because it's seen as like a feminine thing.
Yeah. It's like, why do you want a bigger butt, bro?
Or like, it's just not the... When you ask a guy, why are you working out? You're not going to get, well, you know, I'd like my butt to be more plump and round and big. They're going to be like, I want big arms. I want to bench more. I want my lats to pop.
In the heterosexual community,
100%.
The gay community, from the beginning. I know the gay community has been, and kudos to you guys, have been bragging about it and talking about it and training it for years now.
Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, they're on the forefront of fashion, so they like to look good in shorts. Nobody looks good with palitroque, little skinny chicken legs, and a little flat ass and your little khaki shorts. Like nobody, or in your Speedos.
You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
It could be completely wrong.
Back shots?
Because they're still men, and men like ass.
Yeah. For
it
what?
Be as simple as that. To look at, to touch, to feel.
To use as a pillow.
For thrusting.
For thrusting, for sure, yeah. Hip thrusts are vital to the glute gains. But it's not a joke. They've been on it for a while. No, it's not a joke.
Even the article specifically said in the straight community. However, in the queer community, this has been a thing.
They're like, catch up, guys. Come on.
Yep.
We've been here with nice asses.
Which is how I feel about the whole catch up. It's like, we've been training glutes. But then again, we come from an academic setting where we understand the anatomy of the glutes, what it does, like when you're moving.
Yeah.
And then the fact that almost every lower body exercise that's worth a damn is working the heck out of your glutes.
Yeah, and for things like injury prevention, pain tolerance in the knees and all that stuff, it's vital, I would say.
That and running, sprinting, climbing upstairs, hiking, like everyday movements, your glutes are involved in a major way.
Intercourse. That's what the article said.
Here we go.
I didn't make it up. It's the article.
Half this thing is...
It's the article. It's not my fault for once.
You don't need a Brazilian butt lift, bro.
What?
You need a barbell and consistency.
Oh, ChatGPT, you're so funny.
And this is why you never go off ChatGPT.
That's
only helps us organize.
The article did mention that the rise of, which is pathetic, guys. I am not a judgmental person. Look at me. Look at me.
Male BBLs.
I'm not a judgmental person, but if you're getting a male BBL, leave the channel, unsubscribe.
What if you're getting the Drake etching on your abs?
También, man, don't.
The Sean, what's the other guy?
Big Sean looks ridiculous.
Weird.
Ridiculous, guys.
Picture in.
Just picture in. Just train your glutes, guys. Don't go get a BBL, man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What kind of guy is getting a BBL? Maybe a gay guy? Is a straight guy getting a BBL?
If a straight guy gets a BBL, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not a straight guy.
No, I just don't.
I don't want to judge, guys. I don't want to judge, but let's not get into the weeds of it.
Yeah, let's not.
Men, but supposedly like the uprise in male BBLs has shot up exponentially. I'm not pointing at you.
I know.
Has shot up exponentially. So
trust me, if I had a BBL, you would know.
I know you'd be doing the podcast backwards, like it's Ventura.
Hells yeah.
But guys, don't do it.
Today we're gonna discuss.
That would probably be a more interesting podcast, actually.
Let's talk about the function of the glutes before we get into the aesthetic part of it. Because that was my biggest criticism of the article, is that it glossed over the function.
It was like, John Russin, they're super important because, anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
my boyfriend looks good, My boyfriend looks so good playing sports.
Exactly, which I think is, I mean, again, it's not normal. I guess it's not the norm, I would say, to work out for like better function. I guess it's becoming more.
It's definitely trending.
Right? But they are the glutes are the largest, most powerful muscles in the body. We just said it, what they're involved in. There's 3 parts to a glute, and they're doing all kinds of different movements. So if you want to target them well, you have to hit them like
different angles,
multiple movements, not just like one. It's not like something like
hip
an
thrust,
ab circle you throw.
Hip thrust, and I'd say my glute training is done for the day.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that I think that should be more at like front of mind when it comes to like, why are we training? Why are we working out? And then of course, if you train the glutes well for function, they're gonna look better. They are going to grow like other muscles.
And like we spoke about, I think it was the last podcast. If you guys haven't checked that out, you should.
Which one?
And also subscribe and like and all that good stuff. the one that we discussed, sprinters' bodies.
Mm-hmm.
The glute training is exactly what they're doing. It's gonna add more power, speed, all these things that you need to perform well. That's what glute training is doing for you. It's not just, like you said, it's not just for the looks.
And one of the reasons why is we will show you if you're watching the podcast. Stand up.
You're gonna look at
I'm
my
serious.
ass?
Nah,
This
just
whole
stand
podcast
up.
discussion?
Hold on a second. Just watch. So the glutes are responsible for. Pretend that you're gonna sprint with this leg. So extend the leg back. Hip extension. That extension of bringing the leg back. Now your ass is in my face. That's what the glutes do. Okay. All right. Sit. So you can see how any movement that would either kick the leg back or that straightens you out, either whether it's a hip hinge, an RDL, a deadlift, a squat, a lunge, a Bulgarian, like there's a ton of movements, are all hitting the glutes well, and that's why the sprinters and athletes like football players are
Beat the
doing
shit out of their glute training.
Exactly.
Of course, you have to. And if you're gonna criticize my glutes, think twice, all right? Because I got a male BBL about 2 years ago. So think about that before you comment on it.
It was a botched one, but
It was botched.
Doesn't matter.
It was botched.
He
It was
did it in a
fix-a-flat.
clinic in Hialeah.
Yeah, it was a fix-a-flat.
Which is a thing, man.
Yeah, there's people getting, guys, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not, if you're even thinking about doing your BBL in a Hialeah's clinic.
So to go back to the function part, you mentioned injury prevention.
Yeah.
For low back pain, it's great to stabilize the pelvis,
The hip, the pelvis, yeah.
to prevent knee pain or to help with knee pain if you already have it. Most of the times when people have either back pain, knee pain, something like that, it stems from some sort of deficiency up the chain, most likely in the glutes. If you have strong glutes, odds are that you're a pretty like fit and well-rounded person.
Like your glutes. But if you're sitting a lot, it's the complete opposite. You can kind of get that like dormant glute
amnesia?
syndrome. Yeah. And
That's a controversial thing. I don't
No.
even know if I want to get into it.
No, but I do think that if you're inactive and you sit for long periods of time, I do think it has an effect, a
Yeah, it's
detrimental
not
effect
like
on the glutes.
a condition or anything. You
No,
just have
of
weak
course.
glutes. Like
Yeah.
you sit all day, you don't take them through their full range of motion, and
That's
you're not
exactly
giving
it.
them any stimulus.
That's exactly it. I was going to say the full range of motion. Not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, and they're like, sitting for too long just creates a plethora of issues. You're tightening your hip flexors, like you want to move and you want to do lower body training, basically. Now, can we talk about how we're geniuses
Yeah.
and we're ahead of every curve?
Let's talk about that for a little bit.
So here at BFit, the elite boutique fitness studio,
Wow. I like that.
we've been training glutes since
Our inception.
And it's weird because a lot of guys, it's always guys that come in and they're fit, they got big biceps, big arms, and
Big
they
tough
realize,
guy.
oh wow, we're training legs here like 3-4 times a week. And it's always like jarring to them because they've never done legs that often and they've never done the type of movements that we do here.
Funny story. In regards to that, we used to train a lot of cops. We used to train the Miami SWAT team. And there was a cop who came in here. He was like a newbie cop, and thought he was a big guy, big tough guy. He was worked out only upper body. So we put him through the ringer, had him do a leg session. Then the second day he came, we were doing some other sort of leg thing, and he's like, "Nah, I threw a hissy fit. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing this." And I told him, "All right, you can just sit down there and wait. I'm not gonna change it for you because you're just some dude who wants to do upper body." Like, literally threw a fit like it was a 10-year-old. I was like, "All right, dude, relax. Like, it's just like."
Maybe I'm too deep in fitness. This is a problem that we encounter all the time. When you're like too deep into something, you can't see like
That's why you need
from the
me.
outside, right? But I cannot fathom the people that just want to train some things and not others. I don't understand that. Oh, I only want to train
The things I
my
like.
shoulders and my whatever. Pick arbitrary muscle. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't you want to be
Well-rounded,
symmetrical,
yeah.
well-rounded, balanced?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, any smart strength coach, any trainer will tell you, you have to hit every muscle, hit every angle. You have to. It's a non-negotiable. But I guess there are people out there that like, I'm just not going to train legs.
Yeah, and
Screw it.
And that you're saying it from a functional point of view, but let's also look at it from an aesthetics. That's what the article is about. From an aesthetic point of view, they even said it there. Women are going past the huge guy on top, little tiny skinny legs. Like that's a thing of the past. Like,
Yeah, it's
nobody's
kind of
into that
comical.
anymore. It just looks bad. Like you said, like how are you gonna neglect the complete lower region of your body? Like forget just the glutes; they're completely neglecting the whole lower body. So you're gonna look, and at some point, it's gonna catch up to you health-wise.
Yeah, I guess it's also the thing where like those guys have never had a conversation with somebody like us that can kind of educate, for lack of a better word, on like why you should be training legs. But I want to go back to why we've been doing it from day one, and it's because we teach foundational movement patterns here. We teach the hinge, the hip hinge, the squats, single leg stuff. So that's something that you have to do and you should be doing often. So I would say 4 or 5 times a week we're hitting those movement patterns. Now that doesn't mean that people are coming here 5 times a week and doing it, but we want to make sure,
and we want to make sure that if you miss a day or two, you're still getting your glute and your leg training because we know how important it is.
And the reason why is because when I was still studying for my graduate degree, I was working at UM with the football guys, with all the other athletes, and guess what? They're all doing squats, lunges, deadlifts, Bulgarians, step-ups. So of course, I was going to bring that into general population because that's how the best athletes in the world train. Yeah. And they do that for a reason. They do it because it gives you a lot of bang for your buck. So, like I said, if you're a BFit client, you already know. Like, you've been doing all this stuff.
Lunges,
like,
Bulgarians, you're doing all these shit.
If you read an article about glute training, and I love when people do that, they come back and like, it's all the stuff that we do here.
We're like, we know. Something in that same respect that you were saying there. Your teacher, your professor, Brian Biagioli, shout out to him, said something that stuck with me is he always said, you want a bigger chest? Squat. You want bigger arms? Squat. So basically what he was saying is these lower leg movements are so important because they also jack up your testosterone. So if you're neglecting that, you're neglecting gains in your upper body. So it's like...
That was my pitch that I would tell guys who were hesitant about training legs. It was always the same. It's like, oh, you don't want to do back squat? That's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to anabolic hormone production.
That's what I always tell people. They're like, well, okay, fine. I guess I'll suck it up and I'll do
also,
this Bulgarian
for being
shit.
Like manly men, that's kind of like a sissy thing to want to, I avoid the lower body because it's hard. Yeah, obviously it's hard. Nothing's harder than a heavy set of back squats, a heavy set of Bulgarians.
Heavy set of step-ups. God.
Suck it up and do it.
God, that's so miserable.
So we've been kind of avoiding the aesthetic part of it, but is there any importance to it? And how do you think about the aesthetics of like, why I want to grow my glutes just for looks?
You know me. I've been obsessed with men's asses for a long time.
And for the record's biggest straight.
Yeah,
I know some of you may not know that, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it is what it is, but...
It doesn't matter what you think of me. But you can ask him. I've always had an unhealthy obsession with
men's asses.
Nice ass. Oh, wow, great ass. Look at the ass on that guy. The classic Dumb and Dumber skit of, wow, look at that ass. Yeah, he must work out. I've always like been super complimentary.
There's a few guys that come in here on a weekly basis that, you know, they can't go a few minutes without you mentioning their ass.
Saying how dumped up they are, how they're low-key caked up.
Yeah.
They have a commercial C license to drive that dump truck. I have all the, they walk in and then 5 minutes later, their ass walks in after them. I'm full of the jokes, but for me, I think it's obviously, and then this person, whoever wrote this article, made a poll, and they said, I think like 80% of their followers said they prefer a guy with a big butt. And I'm not talking about astronomically big guys. I'm talking like a shelf butt. If you don't know what that is, it means like it pops up and it's like perky. Not a big wide ass. And
and not a weird ass either.
Not a weird ass either. Yeah, you know who you are, kind eyes. I just think it looks better. Like it looks better in shorts. It looks more proportional if you have an upper body. If you have a big upper body, like a little flap in the back, it just looks bad. Is that what you were asking me? Sorry,
You went, wow, you're so passionate about this.
I know, I got caught up.
You should just have your own separate podcast about men's asses.
I think it'll be huge. I think it'll be a huge sell.
I mean, I have nothing to add. I think that you...
You sure?
You nailed it.
You're pretty self-conscious about your ass because of all
you guys berate me every single day about it. Okay, so that's a good segue to... The dirty little secret when it comes to anything fitness-wise, but definitely when it comes to glutes, is genetics reigns supreme. All those guys that he's talking about with the nice asses
haven't done anything to deserve it.
They've had those asses. The exercise is gonna accentuate, can make it better, can make it more round, whatever, more definitely stronger,
plump.
But you know, how many freaking Bulgarians does a man need to do? Like how many leg exercises have we done in our lives? And it's not like we have impressive. I'd like to say I'm not a flat, I'm not
a flat earther.
But it's not going to be like, wow, look at that guy's
plump rump. Guy at the Jewish school, the plump rump.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm self-conscious about it. I don't care too much about it. If I look like some of those people that have like a negative ass, then I would be self-conscious about it.
Shout them out.
But my whole point being that if you really want to grow your glutes like for aesthetics, be prepared that you're gonna be in the gym 2 to 3 times a week,
gotta beat 'em
hitting
up.
them hard.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a one leg day a week. That
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. And this is from the Godfather himself, Brett Contreras.
Brett Contreras.
The way he trains his, and by the way, if you don't know him, then you have no interest in glute training, because if you did, you would know who he is. He's the GOAT.
He
of
invented the
glutes.
hip thrust, for Christ's sake.
Exactly. So
Jesus Christ, put some respect on this man's name.
exactly. So what he tells his people to do is 3 times a week.
His bunnies.
His bunnies. Is 3 times a week on average. You can get away with like mixing and matching that, but 3 times a week, mixing up all the different planes of motion.
And hitting them hard, too. He
Hitting
hits
them
hard.
Yeah, however, it's not as taxing as you might think, because his philosophy involves, like, he's a firm believer that like a heavy lunge or a split squat or a heavy barbell squat or deadlift puts a lot of strain on your nervous system and on your spine and other like muscles that aren't your glutes. So he's very strategic about the way he targets the glutes, where he's not doing a lot of those like those exercises that we all hate. He limits those a little bit. He still does them,
Yeah.
but he's doing more hip thrusts, like heavy hip thrusts, and he's doing more like some band work. He's doing more abductions, which is just like bringing your leg out to the side, weighted abductions, cable stuff, kickbacks. He's very strategic about it. But all that to say, we're not telling you to go in the gym, put a bar on your back, and squat 3 times
And
a
hurt
week.
yourself.
Like, that's
Yeah.
probably not the smartest way to do it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of our avid listeners, they were at the gym the other day and they posted their workout. And it's one of these like kind of similar to what we do, but obviously not as good, obviously. Because the programming involved back squats, heavy, barbell hip thrusts, heavy, and another very heavy lower body movement back to back to back. And I went,
Tell me it wasn't a deadlift one.
it was an RDL.
Yeah, don't do that.
I was about to comment, but then I realized I was on the gym page because I don't have Instagram anymore. And I was like, hold on. Let me not even say anything. I'll say it for the pod, because it was back to back to back and PRs. PR on the hip thrust. The back squat was heavy, and the RDL was like, I was just going to reply, like, how's your lower back feeling? Because that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, guys, that's why you need 2 days, and hopefully with some rest in between so you can split up those big lifts like this guy just said.
It's also why programming is a science, and you should have some respect for it, not just pick, this influencer said these are the top 5 exercises. Let me just do them all
In one day.
every time for leg day.
as heavy as I can.
We're not going to get into the weeds of programming or how to do a proper glute workout. That's not what this podcast is about. It's about why are men training their glutes more. So we want to give it more of an overview. But if you are interested in like a specific like breakdown of how to train your glutes, that would require another podcast. So let us know.
If you want to do one about how to train your dragon, let us know. We'll do that one too.
Okay. Did you watch the new one?
No, I will though.
Should we at least give the people a little bit of guidance on glute
How to train your dragon? Go ahead.
Just
dude.
a
give them
little tiny
Give them
bit.
a little tidbit on how to train your dragon.
Or like what movements work the glutes?
Yeah. Let's spew them out. I'll say one, you say one.
Okay.
Hip
Go.
thrusts.
Horizontal. No, I'm not gonna do that. Hip
Uh,
thrust. So that would fall into the category of bridging, like any type of bridge, but specifically with the back elevated, gets more glute involvement.
Okay.
Okay, there's the hinging pattern, hip hinges. So that would be
RDLs,
all
deadlifts.
deadlifts, RDLs, single leg RDL, kickstand, banded, conventional, sumo, all of that hits the glutes. Although I would say not as complete as like a barbell hip thrust. That's
Yeah.
like a full range of motion. But you can't neglect any of them. You should be
No.
doing them all.
Yeah, because in those you're getting more hamstring, you're getting more lower back involved too. So you got a lot of assistance.
Isn't it funny though how we said 2 and we didn't say the one that everybody thinks of?
Squats.
Squat. That was for a long time, like 10 years ago. I feel like just squat or like, that person squats. And they had a
He
big
must
glutes.
Squat.
And
Yeah.
yes, the glute is the major muscle involved in squats, but I feel like we've gotten so much more advanced in glute training since then that it's like we know better than just to recommend squats. Squats are almost like an obvious one. That's why
Yeah.
we didn't mention it in the beginning.
And I'm gonna mention it now. Squats.
Squats.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I would put under squat category, you have your goblets and your bar and your back squat and all that. By the way, the bar on your back gets the glutes more than the bar in the front, even though none of you guys are doing front squats. Let's face it now, that's an exercise that sucks.
Yeah. Do front squats and tell me how your quads feel the
Front
next day.
squats is more of a quad, but
Yeah.
but then I would also categorize like a Bulgarian split squat
Well,
as a squat.
would you? I was gonna put it in a single leg plane with step ups and lunges.
You can do what you want, but it's still a squat.
It has a word in
the
it.
step up is a little bit different because you're stepping up into hip extension, but that's another one.
And then if you want to do the step up for more glute activation, you got to go at a little bit of a higher angle.
Yep.
So
you want to get that stretch.
yeah, these things matter, guys.
And then lunges are great too. So all varieties, but reverse lunges. Little hack is whenever you're targeting the glutes and you're doing like a lunge or a squat or anything really, the more you lean a little bit, the deeper the stretch on the glute, the more you get glute involvement, because all these exercises are not working one or two muscles, they're working a bunch of muscles. So you either know somebody like this, or you are that person that feels everything in their quads. That's what we call quad dominant. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I did reverse lunges, I feel it a lot in my quad. It's like, yeah, you're not doing them in a way where you're maximizing the glute.
Mess around with your angles.
I'm the other way around. Believe it or not, even with my sad glutes, I'm super glute dominant.
Why'd you put them like this?
This is not true.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Go ahead, show it.
I'll tell people all the time, I'll do a lower body workout, and the next day,
my glutes, yeah.
only glutes are sore. Like, it's almost like I want more quad involvement.
Trust
but
me,
I'm so glute heavy.
Trust me.
I can do a workout and like I feel the glutes every time where I'm supposed to feel it. But that takes A, some mind-muscle connection, and B, the right technique. You don't just do the exercise. Some people are too upright when they do things.
Yeah, and what we're saying is, because a lot of people tend to, when they squat especially, do this like weird lean with the lower body curved. It's like you said, it's a hinge forward without necessarily overextending that lower back, because then you could be doing more harm than good to the lower back.
That's a great point.
We see it all the time. Like, oh, you can lean a little bit on your squat, and people take advantage and they'll do a weird lean with the back curved.
Why, right?
And it's like,
it's because of the dreaded chest up, chest up, chest up. That chest up, I feel like, has got more problems, has created more problems than it solves.
I mean, that's
people
half the problem.
Think chest up, which means now I'm arching my back excessively, and I have to, stay
when it's
upright.
okay, as long as your trunk is braced, it's okay to have a little bit of a forward lean. But this goes back to all the things that, like you just said, with the chest up, get beat over your head, and then people assume it's real. How many women have we had come in here, especially only women, squat, and at the top of the squat, do that butt squeeze thing. Oh my God, stop teaching that to people.
That's the influencer squeeze.
Yeah, stop teaching that to people, you bad trainers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but that's just, and the reason they do it is because, well, I don't know, maybe I'm making them too much credit. It's the only time they feel their glutes? No, maybe I'm not giving them too much credit, because the glutes do hip extension, so they actually do that posterior pelvic tilt. So they think posterior pelvic tilt at the top is going to give them more glute.
And squeeze.
Not necessarily. Just do the exercise and do it heavy, and give yourself enough stimulus and you'll be fine. I think that's pretty good for what to do. But in conclusion, are men training glutes more? Apparently they are.
I mean, we've seen it here. People are, I don't know if it's just because we beat them over the head with it, but they're fine with it now. Like, the guys are just like, okay, I'll do it. There's, of course, one or two sticklers that just want to do chest. But
I think one of the problems even with this podcast, that I'll admit, is that we train a very specific demographic of the population.
Yep.
They're already doing the quote unquote right training. They understand that function matters. They're thinking about all these other things. I think that it's a very different world out there. First of all, there's the 70% of Americans that don't work out at all. Then there's the ones that go to membership gyms and kind of do their own thing. So there's all these other people that,
I agree. There's a
that
big
I don't really even know what they're doing.
And their audience and the general population audience is a huge disconnect. You're right about that.
So that's where we need your help as listeners. If you don't come to Be Fit, comment and start a discussion, because I wonder, I was totally wrong, by the way, with the Army one. I said a few things, I knew what I was talking about. I don't know anything about the military. And somebody who was in the Navy was like, the push-up test is a joke. They don't really care how low you go. A lot of people can't even do one. I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand this. So anyway.
So there's that disconnect between us, guys. So comment, and share with some people that you think might be either they need glute training. And this is subtle. It's like when your friend has bad breath and you're like, hey, let's go brush our teeth. Send it to them subtly, here you go, man. Just listen to this.
My approach is a lot more blunt than that.
Like how?
Really? You're not training lower body?
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we hope you learned something today. And if you're a guy, go train your glute, please, so I can look at them more. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Be Fit Brothers
podcast.
See you next week.
Have a nice day.
Idiots. Your ass is very polite.